Day 150 of 365 days of meditation, halfway to 300. I just wrapped up my morning practice. Meditated for I think about 45, 50 minutes, something like that. My focus today was, well, a couple things. One of the things that kept popping in my head was this Esther Hicks short video I had watched, and the idea basically behind it was, in the morning, it's all about what you're focusing your attention on, essentially. Start the day off right by building momentum in a positive direction. And she gave a whole bunch of examples. I can't recall them. But I hadn't listened to any of her stuff in a while, so it was interesting to go back and check it out. If you've never listened to the Abraham Hicks podcast, it's interesting, I would say. She has an interesting approach to saying the same things that a lot of other people are pointing at and are saying. But sometimes we need to hear it many different ways for it to sink in. The meditation itself, I think the biggest sort of, I wonder what to call it. It's almost like a weed. I'm going to call it a weed. The biggest weed that I uncovered today and then uprooted. And you know how it works with weeds. You uproot one and there's other ones that pop up elsewhere. That, underground root system was the idea that I'm a bad person. And that's really, I don't remember the question I asked to get there, but what popped into my mind was I'm a bad person. And I remember, so I sort of started tracing back the origins of that, and I was thinking, back to mental health struggles and, suffering in silence, not having any other context for it. And so I came to this assumption that, if I'm struggling and sort of suffering every day, there must be a reason for it. And I think that where the context came from was in the context of sort of religious upbringing, which was, evil is punished. And so I internalized this idea that I must be a shitty person because I'm being punished every day for something. And I don't even know what it is. But yeah, it was like my own personal little hell, struggling day in, day out with obsessive compulsive disorder and then all the anxiety and depression that comes along with it. So I've had this thought before, or kind of noticed this idea before, this sort of belief that was rooted in my mind, and kind of dug around in it a little bit before, but I didn't realize what the origin was until just now. The idea that it's rooted in the idea that if I'm suffering every day, it must be punishment for something that I did, which must mean I'm a crappy person because I'm being punished. And it's totally messed up. Rationally, you can think about these things now and realize it's not true. So what I did was the usual sort of Buddhist meditation practice. I've heard people call it reparenting before. Go back, visited my younger self that was struggling in that state, and just let him know that, I'm not a crappy person. I'm a good person. I want good things for myself, for other people, for everybody. Really, I want the best world that can possibly exist. And that these struggles have nothing to do with my character. And I guess that's what I internalized, that the suffering had something to do with my character. So, yeah, that was I think the juiciest bit of the practice. Again, whenever I do that, there's always a lot of emotion that comes up around it. Really kind of, focused on going back and trying to rework some beliefs, and, they are definitely emotionally ingrained within me, and it seems like it requires some emotion. It sort of seems like some emotion needs to come up. It's almost required in order to sort of release this belief and the suffering and struggle around it. And so that's what I did today. That's it. I didn't really have much else to report other than that. Am doing a morning video, which is good because yesterday I didn't. So, fall off the train, get back on immediately if possible, if and when possible. And if you don't get back on immediately, get back on as soon as possible. So I guess that's the message there. In closing, if you're struggling at all with your mental health, it's not a reflection of your character. It's not something that you did wrong. It's not your fault. It's really not. I almost want to say it has nothing to do with you, but it does obviously in some way, but it's I like to think of it as sort of errors in thinking that have gotten out of control, errors in, unhelpful beliefs like the example I just gave that have gone unchecked and are starting to run out of control in the background. And that narrative and those belief systems are starting to negatively impact your view of life, your view of yourself, your view of the world. Your perceptions, your beliefs are being skewed as a result of, again, certain things that are running on autopilot that seemed like maybe they are rather insignificant, maybe you're aware of them, maybe you're not, but they're not you. Your thoughts, you are not your thoughts. I guess that's the message. And yeah, if you are struggling, don't suffer in silence. Talk to somebody, talk to somebody, talk to somebody. I don't know what to say other than if you don't believe it's possible to get out of a very shitty, dark place mentally, emotionally, well, you're looking at possibility on this screen. I am that possibility. Been there, done that, doing it still. And I feel amazing. And I went from, living hell to a great life. So I would encourage you to keep going. Don't give up. And reach out. Talk to somebody. It can be very helpful. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.